Hi, I'm Hartley Peavey from Peavey Electronics, and I'd like to spend a minute or two talking to you about the difference between vacuum tube type amplifiers and solid state amplifiers. This is a vacuum tube. It has a little heater element inside, just like a light bulb. It has a plate assembly that receives the electrons that are boiled off the cathode. But generally speaking, these have been around for many years. A tube type amplifier typically has a lot more components that you can see, and I'll try to point some of these out to you. These are the controls. Engineers call these potentiometers, but most musicians just refer to them as pots, which is short for potentiometer, and that's what you have here. All these things are capacitors, they're resistors, and notice all the hand wiring that you typically have in a tube amp, and that's why they're expensive. These are preamp tubes, these are power amp tubes. This is a power transformer and what is called choke, which is what we use to change the AC into smoother DC. This is a transistor. This happens to be a MOSFET that will handle substantially more current and energy than these will. There's no heater element here that dissipates heat. They're very efficient. And this is a transistor amplifier, and I'll turn this around. Hopefully you can see these are the power transistors. Usually they are mounted on what's called printed circuit boards. You don't have a lot of vacuum tubes like you do here. And notice that instead of having a choke and an output transformer, you just have a power transformer. This particular model is a 100-watt amp, and notice there's a lot less wiring in it, and frankly a lot less to go wrong with this amplifier than with the tube amplifier. But having said that, there are a lot of people that like the way tube amps sound, primarily because tubes typically distort somewhat differently than transistors do. Although some transistor amplifiers, and this is an example, we have some patented circuitry in there that lets these transistors very much mimic the way tubes overload. Tubes do have to be replaced, whereas transistors don't. This transistor amplifier, if taken care of, will be operating 50 years from now. If you tried to use a tube amp that long, you'd have to go through multiple sets of tubes, mostly output tubes, but sometimes also preamp tubes, and that's the basic difference between a tube amp and a transistor or a solid state amp.